Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Rule Breakers. We hope you're keeping safe. I'm your host, Huda Farouz.
And I'm Yeshan Ranathunga.
Rule Breakers is where you get to meet outstanding personalities who have dared to take the road not taken. People who have amazing stories beyond classrooms and school walls. Children and adults who are chasing their dreams by breaking the rules. To share her rule-breaking story with us tonight, we have a very interesting guest. She is a 13-year-old self-taught, fascinating doodle artist. I have great pleasure in inviting Mayumi Hettiarachchi to Rule Breakers. Hi Mayumi, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you for having me here today.
Hi, Mayumi. How's your life? Are you keeping safe?
Yes, there's not much really. It's pretty boring, but yeah, I'm hanging on.
So before we get to the most interesting part of the segment, would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself, Mayumi?
Sure. Well, I'm an only child, so I like to hang out with my friends and cousins a lot. And also in my free time, I like to watch anime and movies. And music is also a big part of my life. Like I can't do art without listening to music. So yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So Mayumi, doodle art is not something that we hear every day. At least not as much as we hear doctors, engineers, and lawyers. So what does this mean? What is doodle art?
So most of the doodle artists, including myself, define doodling as a form of art where you just draw anything that comes to your mind at that moment, free from any judgment from anyone, because there's no right or wrong way to draw a doodle. You just let your mind flow and use your hand to express your ideas in your own style.
Wow, that's amazing, Mayumi. Mayumi, what inspired you to become a doodle artist?
So when I was younger, I thought that to be able to be called an artist, you have to be able to draw portraits and landscapes and fine art. I tried many times to draw these, but they didn't seem to come out right. Like my humans look like aliens. In the end, I thought that there was this special person who could draw, and these gifted, talented groups of people that could be called artists. And then I gave up art. Last year, I think it was May or June, I was extremely bored at home because schools were closed and I had nothing to do. Then an idea popped into my head to draw a mural on my wall. I wanted the mural to be of everything I liked. And I watched a couple of wall murals that other people had drawn on the internet, and I started to make a sketch. While I was going through the wall murals, I saw something that was called a doodle. And it looked a lot like what I wanted on my wall. After I finished the sketch, it came out pretty amazing. And then next month in July, my father's birthday was coming up. And I wanted to draw a mural for his birthday with all of the things he liked. When I gave the doodle to him, he was extremely happy. And then that was the starting point. Then I just kept learning more techniques and I kept improving my doodles. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. But Mayumi, looking at your work doesn't seem like an easy task. What did you have to do to create all this and become what you are today?
First, it was getting used to a lot of trial and error, like draw, get feedback over and over again. I also watched YouTube videos of some of the top doodle artists such as Gox and Bex, and I kept doodling. Then it was finding the method that worked the best for me with the resources I had. I mean, all the doodle artists online used colored markers to create their art. From what I saw, they had amazing art supplies and access to a lot of material. When I first started coloring my doodles, I used markers I had at home. And then I kept on doodling. After that, there came a point where the markers I had with me were not enough to take my art to the next level. And then I noticed that the colored markers that the other doodle artists used were pretty expensive, and that wasn't going to help in the long run. So I turned to digital art, because then I have all the colors and all of them are free. I spent some time learning digital art, watching digital art tutorials, and I created a few doodles. While I was going through those, I saw that the colors were amazing, but the sketch was not as clean as it used to come on paper. And then I finally found the perfect method. And that was drawing the sketch on paper, taking a photo of it, copying it to the laptop, and then coloring it digitally. The results were amazing, and that is the method I'm still using. So I had to keep learning and I had to keep trying new things. So in a summarized version, I had to get used to a lot of trial and error. I had to make the optimum use of the resources I had, and I had to keep learning and trying new things.
Mayumi, your creations are so unconventional. How do you get these ideas?
Well, I guess I just fix my mind on a topic and I just let my ideas flow into my art. Like when I'm doing a birthday doodle or a commissioned art piece. There's no plan, honestly. It's like flying blindfolded, and just enjoying the experience. And there are other times where I have absolutely no idea as to how I get my ideas.
Wow, great. Out of all your drawings, Amy, which one is your favorite?
Well, it's really hard to choose actually, but I think it's got to be the doodle that I did for the anime movie Spirited Away. As I said before, I'm an anime fan. So the fact that I managed to merge two of the things that I love the most, doodling and anime, into one piece of art was amazing. Another thing that made me choose that was because it has that relaxing vibe, and the dragon and the color combinations came out better than I expected.
So Mayumi, what sort of pictures do you mostly like to draw?
I love to draw the little monsters because there are like so many different ways you can draw them. And I love to experiment with the different possibilities of eyes and mouths and facial expressions of the creatures. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Amy, what abilities do you think that people need to become a great artist?
Honestly, I don't think that anyone needs to have any special abilities or talents to become an artist, in my opinion. The only ability you need to have is to be able to let your mind free. I mean, I think all of us have the potential to become an artist because all of us do when we were small. But as we grow up, I think we create something sort of like a checklist that decides what good art is. But no one really defined what good art is. it's ourselves or the people around us that look at it, judge the art, and then tell us if it's good or bad. I think if we get rid of these checklists and judgments, I think anyone can become an awesome artist.
Wow, that's interesting, Mayumi. So, Mayumi, who are those people who supported you in your journey? And how important do you think that support is for someone who wants to do something different like you?
So the two people that supported me from the very beginning were my mother and father. Like after I first finished my first doodle, I showed it to them because I didn't know what they would say about it. I mean, I thought it looked great. And that's why, because I wanted to know what they would say, that's why I showed it to them. And they actually said that it looked awesome. And yeah, they encouraged me to doodle more. Now, when I look at my first doodle, it doesn't look like much at all. But if they had discouraged me back then, I don't think I ever would have drawn again because I'd have it fixed in my mind that I can't draw. So yeah, I kindly ask all of you to support anyone who is trying to do something different or out of the box because it really helps.
Thank you so much, Mayumi. That was some great advice. But are you trying to say something through your drawings?
Well, I think the best answer to that is what my cousin said about the doodle I gave her for her birthday. She said that every time she looks at the doodle, she sees something new, like some fine detail I added that she didn't see before. Like she just recently told me that she saw this melting butter over pancakes near the BTS group that I'd drawn, and both of us were really excited because this was like way before the song Butter was released. So I guess there's no special message I want to give out, but I want my art to bring a smile to everyone each time they look at it.
Wow, Mayumi, that's really interesting. So just so our audience know, you can find all of Mayumi's creations on Instagram, and this is her Instagram handle. So it has indeed been an exciting session. I had so much fun and learned so much too. How about you, Huda?
Yes, I had so much fun and I was so inspired that I can't wait to try doodling.
But all good things come to an end. Mayumi, thank you very much for coming here tonight and giving us the opportunity to learn from experience. And thank you to our audience tonight. Until we meet you again with another interesting rule-breaking guest, I wish you the best of health and a great week ahead. Good night.